couple of projects today. This was just a cute little cactus. Went garage selling, thrifting Saturday and picked up a bunch of stuff. So this was just a cute little, I think it was from Hobby Lobby, cute little cactus that's going to get a makeover. I went ahead and painted the back just so it's finished. I like the backs of my stuff to be painted too, just because it looks like a finished product. So we are going to use some aviary, and I'm thinking I'm going to leave the pot the way it looks. I kind of may at the end of everything end up putting a wax on it probably. But for now, we're just going to leave it the color it is because I kind of like it. And actually, it matched the weather wood that I did on the back. The perfect match. So, go ahead and get a coat of this aviary. Sorry, concentrating here. Not used to talking in video and while I'm painting. I usually skip this step with you guys instead of you sitting there watching me paint because kind of, for me, it's boring to watch people paint. But to each their own. And like I say in all my other videos, I watch stuff on YouTube. That's how I learn how to use these products. So if you see me doing something wrong, I'm sorry. I am not a professional by any means of this. I love to create, upcycle, make new. So this is a judgment-free zone, folks. Probably not supposed to use that phrase since it's you-know-whos. But yeah, don't judge. And if you have constructive criticism, by all means, please tell me. Help me out here. But you don't have to be rude about it. Go around it the right, nice way. Okay, so we got one coat on that. So we're going to set that one aside and let her dry. This one was just a little black. It had some other kind of printing on it. And I used some fingernail polish remover. Took that off. And then I stamped it. I don't know if you can probably see that with, I think it was Affabelli's stamp. Just to give it some background, and then I did a clear matte spray on that. So on the edges, we are going to paint them with some aviary, just to give it a little pop of color, and then I'm going to do a transfer on the metal. We're just going to do one coat on this one, because I'm probably going to distress it a little bit so some of that fake wood can pop through. And like I said, I clear coated the metal just to seal in that stamp, and also if I get any of the paint around the edge, I can just use a wet cloth and wipe that up. That is one nice thing about the DIY paint. It's easy if you get it on something that you're not supposed to. It's usually pretty, especially if you got a coat of poly on there, clear coat. Yeah, you can usually get it off pretty easy. And sometimes I'm good, and other times, most of the times, I'm a pretty messy painter, folks. I end up with just about as much paint on me as I do on my project. So if you see for some reason would see me on camera, my clothes that I wear when I'm painting are very grubby because they have paint all over them. So I don't usually paint in stuff that I want to keep nice because, yeah, it's not going to happen. Not with me. Okay. So we'll let that dry. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and paint these edges. Like I said, I like for it to look finished. And to me, when the back doesn't have something done to it, it just looks, it still looks store-bought. I guess is the easiest way to explain it. I don't know if I'll go all the way in the inside. Probably just going to do just around this edge. I'm not going to try doing inside the box, at least not on camera. I may change in my mind later and off camera paint inside that box. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to set that on this paint can and let that dry. And then I'm thinking on this cactus, what my plan is, I'm going to do, I don't know if I'm going to do another coat. We'll see how this dries down. I'm going to distress it just a little bit, and then I'll do clear coat. And with my clear coat, I may take this rose chintz. I've used it once, so, and I think I'm going to put that on the cactus. I think that's going to give it a cute look. And like I said, then I'm probably just going to do dark wax down here on the bottom of the pot on that one. So then that one will be done. This little angel, I already have given her one coat, waiting for her to dry. Little angel, wooden angel with little metal wings. And I'm thinking I'm going to do the rose chintz inlay on her also. So I'm letting this dry, and then I'm going to distress it back a little bit. And then we'll go from that. So I'll do that one on camera once that's dry and I can distress it some. So let's pause for just a minute while these dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've let this dry. Now I'm going to go ahead just a wet damp rag and just kind of do a wet distress. You can sand too. But wet distressing is just so much easier because you don't have all that dust. Sanding, when you sand, you end up with so much, especially with the clay and the chalk paints, man, they make a huge dusty mess. And I'm just doing the back just a tiny bit because I only did one coat back there. But I don't want it to be so. Oh, and yes, you can see Hobby Lobby stamped right there. So yeah, this was a Hobby Lobby piece. Alright, so I want to get the edges just so we can make it look a little, and then I am going to try, I have not tried it. I'm new to doing the paint inlays. I was so nervous to try them at first, so it took me a while to finally bring myself to try them. But I am going to try this one, doing it with poly, or top coat, excuse me, instead of the paint, since I'm getting this distressed to where I want it before I put that on. It's just easier to go with it. I'm going to try it and see. Maybe I'll turn out the way I want to. No, if I don't, then sand it, repaint it, and start over, and not try that way again. We'll learn, right? So I just want just a little bit of minging on the edges. And I have to let this dry. And I'll put the poly on. I always call poly top coat. There's so many different types. Okay, I think that's. So let's go here. A little bit of green on the pot. No, a little bit. Alright. Alright, just a tiny bit. Minging on the edges is where I want it to be. Okay, set that aside, let that dry. And then the little box, of course, I went ahead off camera while I was waiting for the other stuff to dry, and I did. I painted the inside. I figured I would. I don't know why it... Now we're going to wet distress this one back just a little bit. I'm not going to do the inside of the box. I'm going to leave it. It's mainly like the cactus. I just want to do the edges. Then I've got a transfer from one of the seed packets picked out, and that's what I'm going to put on the front of this, on top of that stamp that I already did. It's just good. Perfect. Okay. I think it's right. So we can like that. Clean up the edges a little bit. Do the corners. Alright, so I think that's good. So we got a little bit of a distress around the edges on that. Now we are going to do a transfer on there. So I picked out this one just to give it a little bit of a pop of color. Plus the green on the leaves is going to look really cute with the edges. Let's make sure we got that going the right way. Yeah, I think that's the way I want to go with it. Sticks. And like I said, I think this is from one of the seed packets. I don't remember which one, but it's from one of them. I think we'll go about there. Perfect. Get this on, and then once that where I wet and distress dries, I'm probably going to do a dark wax. I may distress this label back or this transfer back just a tiny bit, because it's going to look so nice and new on everything. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what it looks like once I'm done. But I'll probably end up doing dark wax on the sides. I just think the dark wax looks so cool on top of the aviary, on the greens. On the greens and the dark blues, it looks really good. Okay. Give that a good rub. Make sure it's down really good. Go back over it again. Just to be safe. Alright. And there we go. So now you have a cute little shelf sitter. Okay. So that one's done. Like I said, other than, I don't think I'm going to distress the transfer. I think we're going to leave it, and we're going to go with it, and we're just going to do a wax on everything. Now see, that's how I was showing you. If you flip it over these black grids, you can use those sometimes when you're burnishing your, and it will come off just a little bit on there, and I think it just adds a little bit more depth to it, and I could be wrong, but I think it does. And you can see, like where my fingers are, it does take some of that off of there. So, alright, so this little guy is done, except for needing to do a wax on it. So we're still waiting on this cactus to dry so we can finish that, dressing that up with the rose chintz. We're going to put that on there. And then I've got so many projects going on right now, trying to get ready for this booth next week. So this one is done. All I got to do, like I said, is it's dry so I can do a dark wax on that one. And that little thing will be done. So now we are going to do the cactus. And we are going to use, I think we'll just use this. Like I said, I have not tried it with doing it with a clear coat as opposed to a paint. So we're going to paintbrush, try this and see how it turns out. Hopefully it turns out. Like I said, if not, we'll be sanding and repainting. Quart bottle. Okay. Now we're going to attempt this and see, folks. Like I said, hopefully it works. I've seen people doing it, but I personally have not tried it. I know I've seen people they'll just take like a wood product and just not doing any paint on it, just doing the poly for an inlay on the wood so you can see the wood, and then the paint looks beautiful. Looks really cool. So I've seen them do it on that. So we are going to try it on this little cactus. So we'll get a good, I don't want it too thick. Get a nice coat of poly on there. Make sure it's all nice and evened out. And then once this is done, then I'll do a clear coat on the whole thing. Okay, and then we're going to take our inlay and just give that a good mist. And then I'm going to put it on here. Come on, work with me, work with me. Ah, crud. I didn't realize that's going to be off. Don't quite go all the way to the edge on the sides. Yeah. Dang it. Like I said, I'm new to this whole paint inlay thing. I'm going to miss that again. Sorry, I'm getting water everywhere. Make sure that's stuck down really good everywhere. I'm gonna end up probably where it's hanging off on my table. Oh well, this poor table has definitely seen better days, so make sure we got it rubbed down really good everywhere. And we are going to set that to the side. Hopefully it turns out good. Like I said, right here I didn't get quite to the edge, and I didn't get quite to the edge there, so we'll address that when we're done. Okay, so we're gonna set that. I got overspray water everywhere. Okay, we're gonna set that over here and let that dry. And then we are going to move on to this little angel. And before, I know I've got more than enough for her, so she'll be fine. Okay. So, let's go ahead, and we're going to do the same. I'm going to try the same thing with her too, the poly. Yeah. Probably should wait and make sure it's going to work on one project before I do it on another, but, you know. Just go with it. Could use a bigger brush on this one. Oh well. It is what it is. A little bit thicker. Okay, now we got this one, and this one I have definitely used before, so this is the second time this one's getting used. Try to get it to where it's okay. And then I think once this is done, I'm thinking I'm going to apply it, of course, and then use one of my letter stamps and do either Grace or Hope going down the middle. I think that would be really cute with black ink. So I think that's the plan for this one. We'll see. My plans sometimes change midstream, so you never know. And alright, so we're going to put her aside. Okay, so we're back, and I think they're dry. While it was drying, I completely forgot and did it off camera. My new little apothecary label stamps, I went ahead and stamped Grow on the top of the pot, so it turned out really cute. Those new little letters are great. So do that, and we're gonna go ahead. This is dry. So we are going to go ahead and I'm actually going to put this wax rag down just so I'm not getting water everywhere. Give that a good spray. And get some of that water off of there. And then we're going to see, oh my goodness, and it's just, oh. When you peel this off and see that inlay, I don't know why, it's just like so satisfying, but it is. And if it gives you any kind of resistance, just go ahead and put it back down, give it a little bit more water. A couple spots right there, it looked like it was not wanting to. There we go. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, that turned out. We're going to set that to the side over here. And, oh, so cute. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm probably going to hit it with some sandpaper just to try to blend that edge where we didn't quite go all the way. Do that, and then probably going to do a dark wax over the entire thing. But we'll come back and do that once that's dry. So we're going to set that to the side for now. Oh, that turned out so cute. Okay, now we are going to attempt the angel. I end up with that dark wax on, even though I'm doing dark wax on everything. Get this nice and wet. Let that sit on there. We're going to let that one sit on there for just a minute and see if that, like I said, I'm new to this whole paint inlay thing, so it's kind of learning as I go. But they're just so cool. They turn out so neat. Alright. Dab some of that off of there. And see what we got. Oh yeah. And this one, like I said, this one I had used before, so I knew it was going to be a little lighter. But that's fine. That's what I wanted. I didn't want a real bright, stark picture on there. Oh, that's perfect. Oh yeah, yeah, just a little bit. Sit that over here, let those dry. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, cute. So yeah, that gave it just enough to where you can barely see it. So once that's dry completely, I am going to hit it with sandpaper just a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'm going to stamp. I think I'm going to stamp Grace down the front of it. And then I might see what kind of chiffon ribbon or something I have and tie a cute little, just a little knot with some streamers or something around the neck on it. Just to give it a little bit more. Okay. Go ahead and do that. And then while I was waiting for that to dry, I did go ahead and do dark wax on this little guy. So on the edges you can see it a little bit. Yeah, I love the dark wax on that aviary. It just looks so cool together. So you've got this little shelf sitter. So that one is done completely. To this one, I need to go ahead and cover her with poly. Then that way I can go ahead and stamp it. I'm going to stamp not Grow, Lord have mercy, Grace. I think I'm going to do Grace going down on this. I think that would look cute. So let's get a little bit bigger of a brush. I need to wash some brushes. And you gotta kind of be light-handed when you're doing this clear coat over a paint inlay because it's paint, and you don't want to reactivate it and smear it. So you gotta try to be. And I'm not a good light-handed painter. And then try not to go back and forth way too many times. Okay, that's good. So now we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back to that and stamp Grace on that one. And then this one, we can go ahead, and we are going to do, I think we're going to go with brown wax on this one. And this was the one that I did. All I did on the pot was just paint the bottom of it, the back, with weathered wood, and it pretty much matched what they had existing on it. So that worked out perfect. now, time for the front. This paint inlay turned out so cute on this cactus. I'm glad I finally started using the paint inlays. Like I said, they're so fun, and they add such a cool effect to your projects. Oh, that's good. It's going to be a little kind of blotchy, but that just gives it more of a weathered vintage. Okay, and there we go, folks. There is the finished cactus. That turned out really cute. Okay, so we got that one done. So we got the cactus done, and then we got this little shelf sitter sign. So those two are completely done. Now we just need to work on, we're gonna let that sit and dry just a little bit longer, and we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I've got the letters, and these are, oh, I don't remember which stamp it is. It's one of the IOD stamps, one of the letter stamps. Letterpress, maybe? Grace. I've got it in all lowercase, so I've got that lined up down the middle, how I want it, and I cannot find my bigger mount thing, so we're going to just have to wing it and make this one work on an angle. Okay, so get all my letters on there really good. I'll flip that over, get our ink, ink those up. I need to put some more ink on this ink pad too, by the way. I keep forgetting about it. Okay. So we're going to get that lined up in the middle. I think that looks good. Alright. And then just start rubbing those letters. One letter at a time. Remember to be keeping constant pressure with your other fingers while you're not rubbing the other letters. That way you're not going to have any kind of smearing. Otherwise you're going to end up with smearing from it sliding around on you. Lift straight up. Alright, there we go. Alright, so there's a little angel with grace on it. So that one is done. I am going to go in and do, probably end up doing brown wax on this one too, just to distress it some. So, and then that will be done. Let's get wipey. Ink off these letters right quick, and then we will hit this with my dryer real quick. Okay, get that out of the way. And I need to do the back also. This one made everything the same kind of thing since there's probably on the front. And all that. I'm going to do the metal. I wish we were going to do that a little bit, but it is what it is. Just embrace it. And this, I think, actually, this was actually an old way we had Or Valley Slipper, sorry. I think that was the thing I used on this. It was kind of last minute color I decided to do. Yeah, so this back is probably going to look a little bit more vintage than the front. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Each paint takes the wax and stuff different. It's crazy how they all react to different things. Well, DIY is a clay, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. And then good old, this is Waverly, it's a chalk. I remember when I first started crafting, that was like the paint was Waverly from Walmart. Which, I mean, and that was a while back. Everybody loved Waverly. I still use it every once in a while, but not as much as I did back in the day. I say back in the day like it was like 10 years ago. It wasn't. It was probably like 5, maybe 6 years ago. Oh, goodness. Get out of her little neck crack. Go ahead and put it, like I said, even though it's not really doing anything to the metal, I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. Because I can. Alright, I'm going to get all the edges done. This side. This was another one of the thrift finds from this past Saturday. We went and garage sailing, went to a couple vintage markets, and went and picked up my hutch that I'm working on. That's my process in the garage, but I'm waiting for, we got so many projects going on in the garage, I don't really have much room. So, that'll be working on that tomorrow. Get started on that tomorrow. Getting that done for my booth. And that is next week that I start getting that all together and moving into that and starting that adventure, which I'm excited. It should be fun. I've never done something like that before, so. I've done the markets, the actual just going and sitting outside, and sometimes they're good, but I don't know. The heat here in Texas is, I don't know, not a lot of people. When you're going to a market, like a farmer's market, you're going to get your produce or something when it's this hot. You're not just going to walk around and shop for decor and stuff, so. The fall and winter markets I do go to, but the spring, summer, not so much. So, I'm just going to work on my booth this summer and YouTube and my Etsy shop and get all that stuff taken care of and built up, and then I'll probably do a couple of fall and winter ones, markets, later this year. Alright. Okay, so we got the, I need to go through and do a little bit more cleanup on her. Get a clean rag. And this is the front with, hopefully you can see that, the ballet slipper, and then we did the rose chintz inlay and then stamped it with Grace. And then did a brown wax on it. So that one's done also. So, there we go, folks. Alright, you guys, so that's it for this one. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.